Team, let's get stuck into it. Today was a big day, as I said. Have a look at this. The AFL, basically 24 hours before the start of the season, have come up with a new rule that completely transforms the shape of the game. Now, they've brought in a 23rd player, named on the bench as a medical substitute. They can only take the field if another player is deemed medically unfit to continue, that is, medically unfit according to the club's doctor. The doctor then decides the player will be unable to play for 12 days. If that's the case, you can have the substitute. Doctor provides a medical certificate on the first working day after the match to verify that is the case. Clubs that break the rule can be sanctioned. It does open itself up for manipulation, but can we make this a bit easier? Ross, you and I were talking about this before, and Caroline before we came on, and Lloydie, and we're going to talk about some of the other issues a little bit later in the show with the AFL. Have the AFL made this just too hard? I go back to the old tanking issue that happened all those years ago, and I used to saying, don't put the cream in front of the cat, then kick the cat if it licks the cream. Okay? There's just too much at stake here. Why not just have 5 interchange?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's grey area. I think there's ambiguity, and I think it could come unstuck under pressure. Enormous pressure on the AFL doctors. They're under enough as it is. I'd make it 5. Deal with whatever comes game day, whatever injuries, concussion. 5 will get you through. I think that's been proven over a long period of time. 4, 5, and then it gets out of any pressure situations.
Caroline, can I ask you just before you go, I don't have a problem with it from a concussion point of view. Anything that can help players play. If you've got players sitting in the stand, they may as well be playing. We're paying them anyway. We're going to have to find an extra $3 million to pay for a year of the AFL competition to do this, and some clubs are filthy about that. But is it the right way to go about it?
Look, I don't like it. I think it's been introduced under the guise of welfare, and as Ross says, it's really pretty much a 5-man interchange bench. What isn't specified in the rules is the fact that a player who comes off not for concussion but other reasons can in fact play the following week if they sort of work out that the doctor thought it was right to take him off at the time. Steve Hocking found some fairly hostile media when he talked about this decision at the MCG season launch today.
Look, from our point of view, we think it's taking care of health and safety. So, wherever you can, if there's 1 or 2% uplift and care in that, we're more than comfortable with.
If someone pings a calf, why does he need to be replaced?
Why does he need to? Well, the coaches felt that this was a direction that we should take.
Are they running the show now, are they?
No, they're not. No, we've consulted wide on this, and we're very comfortable with where we've landed on this.
Yeah, there's no doubt that the changes with interchange and obviously the longer quarters and all that, there's been concern from coaches, which has obviously come up late in the piece. But I was originally at the start saying it's an attrition game. I've seen some great wins where teams have had 1 on the bench, 2 on the bench, and that's what football is. That's why we've all grown up, that injuries happen. Then I warmed to, OK, concussion. You know full well that if you get concussed, you can't play for 12 days now anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, I can live with that one. To then bring it into a medical injury, I just think it opens up a massive can of worms. The amount of times I've been corked, injured, AC joints, that I couldn't finish a game, but I was going to be right for the next week. So then suddenly a fresh player is going to come on for me that specific day, but I'll be right to play the next day. I think it opens up a can of worms for the opposition.
Can I just add, though, that from the competition committee, which I sat on for the last 3 years, that this has been discussed to look at the concussion. Yeah. And I think it was always a smart thing to do. But, yeah, it's added this other layer. The other thing, though, is that, when you look at it and you say, well, ultimately, it means that a player who's injured will come off the ground. We've got some vision, which is Nick Vlosten and Gary Ablett in grand final last year. We might roll this in here. And this is the example. Almost simultaneously, Vlosten's knocked out, Gary Ablett gets it, bang, his shoulder's gone. Now, if you didn't have the opportunity for both players to be replaced, Vlosten would be able to be interchanged and have a sub come on, and Gary Ablett wouldn't. Yeah. Now, you'd be filthy if you're the Geelong
Gary Ablett played till the end of the game
anyway.
But
he played under duress.
Yeah, but that was a coach's decision. More interesting, Ed, is the doctors. Now, the Amazon doco that has caused so much controversy and been so interesting looked at the doctors and how we're always told the doctors are tough, and I think doctors should be strong enough to stand up to coaches. But here's some of the scrutiny they faced. 2 incidents last year.
Hang on, you're smiling. Before we go to this, what are you grinning about here?
Well, coaches are running the game, now they're making medical decisions.
Let's have a look at Stuart Dew and Damien Hardwick in 2020.
Rowley's done that. They put it back in, he wants to go back out, but they've said no.
Why not? Whose doctor is it though? It's theirs, isn't it?
Well, it's a Melbourne-based doctor, isn't it? Yeah, it's not Geelong, yeah.
But
They're all in agreement down there, mate, not to go.
Been off for 7 minutes.
They've taken Bash's ankle or calf.
Well. Yeah, well, what does a sore calf mean, mate?
No, I don't know.
Well, at the end of the day, it's a grand final. Get a tape and get him going.
He's done.
Yeah, mate.
Hey, Timmer, how you going?
How's it?
Good, mate. I'm just going to need you to tough it out.
Yeah, 100%. I'll do it.
Beautiful.
I'm going to do it.
Good luck.
Absolutely fantastic vision.
I know it's fantastic, sorry to cut you off, but that's where we're saying a big final, tape it up, get him out there, we need him out there. But if that's a preliminary final, last quarter, can't get him off, we've won the game, get him off, get some fresh legs on, and, OK, Hawley hurt his calf, he'd get up for the grand final. Stevie Johnson, miraculously, I think, was against Collingwood, Ed?
Yes, it was.
He got up for a prelim, dominated the next week in a grand final. So
Wayne
they're the
Carey
things...
played a final series in '94, dominated the final series.
Well, the whole Brisbane Lions in
Yeah.
2003, they had they said ankle deep in syringes before they ran out on the ground that day.
I don't like the injury side of it. Concussion, yes, it seems duplicitous to me. And if it's so important, why not do it in the lower leagues as well?